Just like that, it's me again. Hey everyone, it's Tuesday. I'm Brian. Welcome to my stream. Uh, yeah. So I'm sorry about not being here Friday. I gotta tell you, I'm feeling a little burnt, to be honest. The Friday stream, I was looking forward to that, but didn't materialize, and I wasn't feeling very well. And I mentioned it on the Discord, but sorry about that. Yeah, just didn't feel like doing security stuff on a Friday. So I ended up taking a little me time, working on another side project that desperately would like to see come to fruition a little more. And yeah, so but I had a migraine too. So when I said I'm not feeling well, it was that burnt feeling, but I wanted to do something that wasn't security on that day. So that's where I was. So I appreciate the people who have given me grace, including Lady P, which I saw posting back up on her Discord. I'm glad Lady P's back. Couldn't do this without her. Need her snark. It's a special kind of snark. Weaponized snark is my favorite new term, I think. Yeah. So we haven't done this in a while. I'd like to thank OLV 2003 for following. I think they followed yesterday during our interview with Josh Grossman. Triplexity, of course, for resubscribing for the entire, 25 months in a row. Appreciate that. Mabel 2002, Rafat Bahig followed 11 days ago. This is how long it's been since I've done this. So DJ Chateau as well. So just like to remember why I'm doing this, and that's for listeners, followers of that, and yeah. So I did something a little different that time. I don't know if anybody notices, but let me see if I can pull that up for everybody. And we had a good time. I had a good time with Josh yesterday. It was good talking to him. Time zones being what they were, it was, what was it? It was 9 a.m. my time, and it was 7 p.m. his time. So he was 10 hours ahead of me. Made it kind of difficult for us to do like a typical 3 o'clock in the morning, afternoon stream here, because it would have been 1 a.m. his time. So I wanted to make sure that I was accommodating to my guest and could make it happen. So I'm gonna close that off here. So you see the stream, and I did a little dissolve thing there. I did some post processing in the video with DaVinci Resolve, which is now 19 beta. Before I started before I started the upload. So if you notice, he now has kind of a similar background to me, where my background's disappeared. I just kind of liked it. Of course, it makes my my system scream a little bit, but I find that having myself with a nice, somewhat clean background and my Zoom companion for the week not having that, it just doesn't feel right. So did my best to make it a little more accommodating for the guest, because I have a graphics card that allows for me to be able to do that. Let me see, where is my and it's a filter. They call it the NVIDIA background removal. There's other plugins for that in OBS, but without it, you see my god awful office, which really I need to clean that up and make it look a little more professional. But otherwise, you see that, and that doesn't look good. So I was working through that. So I was a little bit overexposed as well, but it works out. And so Josh came on and talked with us about AppSec and some of the disconnects that we have with developers. And he has a let me see, where is it? I actually had like legitimate topics and backgrounds. I formatted everything properly. So he has a training at Black Hat called Accelerated AppSec Hacking Your Product Security Program. He obviously is not US, so he is that. It is a virtual one for August 5th and 6th. So there's still time for you to get in on it if you wanted to. It's a 2-day course. And we talked about some of the things in his class, his 2-day course, including, positive software cultures, measuring your progress. One of the things that we talked about was, and I thought it ran counter, was creating processes to your tools. My whole thing was, and he did specify this, that if you don't have any tools to begin with and you're starting fresh, yeah, you can create processes and then match your tools to that or what have you. But, you already have tools. You're not going to throw away what you have because it's not realistic, and people won't want to, throw away those tools in favor of whatever is the software du jour that, is the new hotness. So, I just found that interesting. It's like, okay, it sounds like you're trying to pigeonhole yourself into, your process is not working, but you have to have your processes work for you. If you have processes that don't follow your release guidelines or what have you, here we go. If your processes don't match whatever tools you have, then you're going to run into issues. So I can understand that, and I can get behind that, right? You don't want to go out into completely left field because making change is hard. Seeing some of that at work right now, and it's it hurts. It hurts. It's hurting me mentally. So, hey, Beta Wolf. We're just going over, hey, how you doing? Thanks for coming yesterday, by the way. I appreciate that. For however long you were here, I appreciate you taking the time. We were talking about Josh Grossman and some of the discussion that we had yesterday with him on the stream. I was also making comment that I changed up his background to remove his background from the system. I did find that it was easier to remove his background when he had set everything to blur, which I can't do that, and it's kind of got me. But anyway, so yeah, I can put this in our chat if everybody is interested. So that's the YouTube video of me talking with him. I actually have the closed captioning on. I actually added captions, but that's from DaVinci Resolve that I can remove that. You farming views by watching your video. I'm farming my view. I didn't actually know that was a thing, but sure. I was just giving a brief recap of that. I wasn't trying to farm those. I don't even know how many people watched it. So let me go see. I'm assuming it's ones of people, but so let me see. Analytics. Let's go look at the analytics. I actually like the analytics for YouTube better than I like the ones for like Libsyn. So hey, look at that. 34 people. Fucking hey, look at me. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So the well, to be fair, I think I looked at, what was it? It was Libsyn. Just to give you an idea of how much podcasts have dropped off in the past few months and years. So as of May of 2022, I was getting 30 something thousand downloads a month, and it's just, I mean, it kind of ebbs and flows, but it's going down. I mean, it's a fraction of what it used to be, and I have a feeling that's because people are working from home more, or maybe the podcast isn't good. I'm more than willing to believe that, but yeah, we've gotten a few downloads in the last few days, but it has gotten fairly low here on a couple of these days where the downloads have been less. So I blame some of that on my fact that I used to put out weekly podcasts, and now I've been less regular for the podcast. So as you can see, February to April, and then I've got 2 in the last week. So, and they're very big too. I think the talk we had with Mary was about an hour and a half, and of course Josh was another hour and a half. But yeah, so it is what it is. But yeah, so Josh is going to have like I said, a talk or a workshop at Black Hat, and yeah, I think it would be good if you're, if you work with AppSec people. I think we talked about the trapezoidal thing, right? AppSec can't be unilateral. It can't be something that only security deals with, or security interviews with, or not interviews, but is AppSec is not a security thing. It's a developer and a security thing and a QA thing and a leadership thing and a metrics thing, and because you need all of those pieces in place to have a well-oiled machine. I do think it was interesting to hear him talk about engaging other teams other than just developers, because a lot of times they're just doing what they're told, and they have specific goals that are set for them by their own management or their own leadership, or their own sprint planning in many cases. Or if it's a feature, if your company lives and dies by features, you're going to need to have and prioritize those features over new security work or new security, removing debt, unless that is unless you can, tout them as features. And I think we've talked about that before. It's not, work. It's adding new features, security features, or what have you. So yeah, I'm not going to be in Vegas August 5th and 6th, but right now I will be at DEF CON, and I hopefully will be gooning at DEF CON if everything goes as planned. So signed up for that. I've got a couple of people who are witnessing for me, so I should be able to do some gooning at DEF CON and Black Hat. So yeah. So how's everybody doing? Anybody make any impact this week on at their job? Hey, Beta Wolf. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why I want to goon at DEF CON. It's not because I want to go to DEF CON. I have very little interest in the talks. I don't know if that gives me an edge on somebody who's security gooning at DEF CON or not. But yeah, I have very little interest in the talks. When I went to B-Side San Diego, I didn't see a single talk. I didn't have any interest. I would guess it's, I can, I'm probably just doing it for the CPEs right now for my CISSP, but yeah, I guess some people may do it because it does give them a free ticket to DEF CON, but I just, for me, it's like, I want to understand what it means to work at a well-run conference. B-Sides was it's a very well-run conference. For me, it's only to see people I want to see, but I haven't been to DEF CON the last few years. I've never been to DEF CON, to be honest. And I told them that when I signed up for it. There was a form you had to fill out, and they're like, hey, what experience do you have with conferences? And I was like, hey, they're like, how many times have you been to DEF CON? I was like, 0. And they had another question. It was like, how have you worked at other conferences? And I mentioned our infosec camp out one, which, did okay. There were definitely things I could have done better on that, but other things like, worked in the workshops at the Mental Health Village for DerbyCon, volunteered at B-Sides San Diego, did a few other things for other conferences, attended other conferences, but it was like, yeah, I've never been to DEF CON, and I don't know if that matters or not. I think there's probably some folks out there that are, like, hey, why, he hasn't been to DEF CON, he doesn't understand, man, that kind of thing. So it will be interesting to see if, if I get accepted or not. My hair's looking fantastic today. Yeah. but yeah, I'm wow, that's an uncomfortable silence. All right. Um, is anybody affected by that Palo Alto bug that was on last Friday? Uh, I'm really, I the one thing I would love to see about our industry. Uh, really, Mr. Wolf? So yeah, for those of you, Palo Alto critical bug. Yeah. So all right. So yeah, PanOS bug could allow attackers to execute arbitrary code with privileges on some firewalls. They're fixing the issues for flaw in its PanOS software that could allow unauthenticated attackers to execute code on some firewalls. If you're using these versions of PanOS, and to be fair, they have many versions that they've talked about in previous lists. So your version of PanOS, if it's not this one, there's a good chance you might want to double check and make sure. But a lot of these older ones are end of life, end of service. You may not get a security update, but you may be vulnerable to it. And I don't know how often people upgrade their stuff, but it's, if you're configured with your Global Protect Gateway and Global Protect Portal, or both, and device telemetry is enabled, the flaw does not affect cloud firewalls like NG, FWS, Panorama devices, or Prisma Access. So yeah, 2024 3400. Ooh. So they're saying 10 out of 10. Yeah, so they mentioned here they're saying it's not affected. I don't know if it's because they're not affected because they're not letting people know if they're affected. It could be that the code was introduced only in the top three, PanOS 11.1, 11.0, or 10.2. It could be that this code was only included in those versions and not in the earlier versions, which, yay, your shit's so old that it doesn't even have vulnerabilities that are new. But just I don't even know how you would tell that. Oh, CVSS 4. Look at that. They have a CVSS 4 score on here. Very nice. Improper neutralization of special elements used in a command or command injection. Ooh. So yeah, product constructs all or part of a command using externally influenced input from an upstream component, but does not neutralize or incorrectly neutralize special elements that could modify the intended command when it is sent to a downstream component. Examples I've seen with command injection is the ability to add a semicolon, for instance, and add additional commands on top of that. So if you know that the system you're using will run an ls command, you can go ls and then colon or at ampersand to append additional commands there, and it's going to run that in that line, and it will continue to run those as long as they exist. So you can say ls at or ls at ampersand curl this file, or you can make it do things like format c colon. That's not correct, but you can do those kinds of things. So I haven't seen a better write-up yet. That was something I was looking for earlier today. Oh, there you go. So they have additional bits. So Beta Wolf, how did patching go for that? If your organization was smacked with that a little bit. So let's see, command injection does not affect. So where are the increasing number of attacks? We're tracking initial exploitation of the vulnerability. Operation Midnight Eclipse. We assess that additional threat actors may attempt to exploit in the future. Right. So patching now is good because if they haven't rather quickly, it was noticed extremely early. That's good. Beta Wolf, have you noticed in the past, I don't know, few years, there's always been kind of a hesitation to patch things that are of a critical nature, like firewalls. Does your org, and you're one data point, but it's good to have data points. Are they okay with that, or do you have to wait for a window for change management, or is it like, hey, you can patch this as soon as it happens? What is it in your org? How does that work for you? Well, they get crazy. Yeah, go check this out. Unit 42 is really kicking their own team in the own team in the ass here. Look at this. Part of the activity observed in Midnight Eclipse after exploitation, threat actor created a cron job that would run every minute to access commands hosted on the external server that would execute via bash as seen in the following command. Right, so you're gonna grab the policy and you're going to, we were unable to access the commands executed via this URL, but we believe this URL was used to deploy a second Python-based backdoor, which our colleagues at Velexity referred to as upstyle. We patch things as they happen, which is nice. The biggest downside is that when it comes to pushing teams in our org to ensure that they're safe, it takes a while. But these are one of the few times we get complete control over the sitch and do what needs to be done immediately. That's awesome. That's awesome, because I imagine there's not a lot of orgs that are like that. Even in 2024, you still have to do things like wait for patch windows, or the patches get applied late at night, or what have you. Or we can't patch because we're worried about uptime, or we're worried about breaking something. I would say that hopefully is largely no longer the case, but it is what it is. So this is a good write-up. Python script is written to system.pth. Base64 decodes an embedded Python script and runs it. This embedded Python script has two functions named protect and check, which are called in that order. So it sends a sig term and writes the constants to system pth back to itself as a persistence mechanism. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so you got IOCs there. Like, if you can't patch, that's what I like to see. If they don't have the ability to patch, here's some IOCs that you can look at, in case your firewall is sending traffic out to some place that it shouldn't. So that's nice. I mean, is your firewall supposed to be sending out traffic like that? I would imagine, Hey, Digital Warhead. Yes, also subscribed for 25 months in a row. That's awesome. There we go. All right. So yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, this is one of them necessary evils, but it sounds like that they're. What I find interesting is the threat intel folks have to hang their people out to dry on this. I mean, the write-up here is about, from Palo Alto to Palo Alto, or to people who are following Unit 42, which is Palo Alto's folks. I mean, they have to really get in there and start scrubbing and looking at the ugliness of this. I mean, they don't talk about, where in the code it exists, but they do talk about IOCs and backdoors that are using this capability or this vulnerability in this case to own up Palo Alto users. So it's a good discussion. So I'm gonna shut my door. I'll be right back in a second. So our backyard got fixed. We're finished with our renovations. Our house has been repainted. If you looked at like the Redfin site for our house versus what it looks like right now, it looks completely different. Backyard, front yard, kitchen. everything in the last year. We've completely, I wouldn't say gutted the house, but we've definitely made a lot of changes to the house. Hey, Digital Red. So you and Beta Wolf are the only ones on here, so that I know of, unless they're lurking. So, yeah. So, yuck. All right. Let me see what I can come up with. Anybody done any API hacking? I just found this link on OWASP's site. How good are you with SQL? Oh my shit. Have you been watching? Are you invited to some of the meetings that I'm dealing with? Oh, you're asking Beta. You're asking Beta Wolf. I thought you were asking me how good I am with SQL. It's funny. I have been dealing at work with SQL. I live in the world of spreadsheets, but we still have systems that are like, oh yeah, you can run SQL query on this stuff, and it's been more than a minute that I have been dealing with SQL or SQL in this case. So I'm having to go back and learn a bunch of shit where I'm still finding it easier to pull down the CSV and edit and look at things in Excel because it's easier to filter that way versus trying to figure out, what was the one query that I was looking at earlier. One, it helps if I don't have like 500 different freaking tabs open, but okay, there we go. Conduit. Ouch. Yep. Okay. Oh. Well, you can't do that. Plus, the way you have to get into the database is a bit hinky as well. So, there we go. There. Yes. So, yeah, just having to remember. Seems like joins are temporary and real time when views are also live, but can be recalled. Oh. Having a hard time learning joins and views. I understand what they do, but when would you use them respectively, and how and why are view queries able to be saved and referenced later? I do not know that. I'm assuming W3 schools isn't what you're looking for, but yeah, I don't understand what the difference between a joins and a views. SQL joins versus views. So a join view is a virtual table that contains columns from related heterogeneous data sources joined by key columns. Use a join view to run tests on several related columns across different tables. You can create a join view instead of multiple SQL views with joins. What? Joins are faster. Oh, I didn't know that. There are inner joins, outer joins, cross joins, and self joins. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, sometimes you need to write a query which uses more than a single table. This is perfectly acceptable in SQL, but needs a little care. Oh. Okay, so yeah, oh, I get that. So you're selecting all the data from one table and putting inner join just means that you get data back from the primary table. Okay, but in this case, they're using so the owner is Jim Smith and Bob Smith, Bob Jones and Bob Smith, and they are matching date of births and names from a second table to correlate information. So if Red Ford was owned by somebody from born January of 1980, we're only interested in contributions which obey the rules of the foreign key, which join these two tables. Oh, okay. Both ways are referred to as an inner join. Now, in order to get our query working properly, we put in the join name equals owner. There are two ways to do this, which we'll call traditional and modern. Both ways are referred to as an inner join. Joins also require more than one table when a view can be used with one or more tables. Yeah. Yeah. So select star from car and driver. So I'm assuming, okay, select all from car. So this is the car table. This would be the driver table. So you're pulling from car and driver. So select star from these tables where the owner equals the name. I see. Traditional modern join, you say from table 1 join table 2 on, and then you get all the data in one table. And it's smart enough, I guess, to match up entries. Because I'd imagine if your data in one table is not formatted so that like all the Jim Smiths were at the top, all of the Bob Smiths are in the middle, and then the Bob Joneses are at the bottom, it won't mix them up. It's smart enough to go, okay, I want to match, and assuming your owner in the original table is a foreign key, or this is the foreign key, it will match one for one, but I don't know that. I'm not sure any of this is helpful for anybody who doesn't understand SQL, but you know, there we go. Outer join. Interesting. So if you had a car that didn't have an owner that matched, would it even pull that information? Yeah, I don't know. Oh, wait, shit. Okay, so I'm an idiot. So there you go. Big idiot. Y'all don't want to see my pretty face, but so yeah, I was reading through this multiple source tables, join conditions. So there's a couple of places where if your database is missing a foreign key in the owner tab, you won't get that information maybe. Smart Blue. Been using my course material in ChatGPT to help understanding, but I have yet to understand a real life situation where you'd use one or the other. Yeah, I don't know either. I do have several sites that I am playing around with at work that you may want to connect those together, but I think they'd have to be formatted in such a way to allow for that. Right, just examples with no context. You're right. I mean, a lot of these examples are, you know, I want to believe that this data makes sense, but you know, why would you really need to know that a red Ford with that somebody paid $12,000, you know, and being able to need to know the owner's name, you know, the owner's name and what their day of birth was. If you need to know, you know, how many red Fords are owned by people born in 1980, okay, great. I guess if you need that sameness, you can do that. Kind of reminds me, of those logic puzzles. What is that? Logic puzzles. Let me see if I can find one. Yeah, here we go. So there's these logic puzzles, and I can definitely see these kind of being like a database or different databases. And you get different clues based on those things, but they're really just queries of things. So your database here is going to be like prices of who owns what and how much, and you're making, each one of these is a table or what have you. So you're actually creating different conditions where these are, they make sense, and you're joining different things together. I don't know. It felt kind of like that, whereas like going back to this, it's like, okay, so you have registration number, make, color, price, and owner, and then you have an owner and a date of birth. So in this case, the logic puzzle would be, amount, person, color, and then down along the y-axis, you're going to have, okay, date of birth and eye color or something like that, and you're having to say, okay, everybody who has a red Ford with red eyeballs, they're gonna match up this way. Something just clicked for you. Uh-oh. I didn't do it, did I? I hope not. Did I break your brain? I don't know. I use IBM Maximo at work for service tickets and view workloads, and the database admin set up a SQL query to show just the tickets assigned to me. I'm assuming that's a view query created to show tickets only assigned to me. Yeah, depending on your databases, how they're set up, you could be, and your access controls, you could be set up to be to view only rows or certain fields, or certain tables in a database, depending on who you are and what control you have. And the DB admin may have set up a view query to say, okay, Digital Warhead has access to this table, these fields, this row, these columns, etc., and is set up a custom query for you that's the only thing you can query, right? That's the way I'm kind of understanding it. Whereas, myself, if I needed access to understand not just the tickets, but I need to understand mean time to fix, or if I need that, so I would need to understand like when the tickets were opened, when they were closed, who worked on them, etc. Yeah. And yeah, you may need to pull from multiple tables. So, whoever opened the ticket is going to have their own views and their own setups. And, so you're going to have, open tickets. So you're going to have a list of open tickets to, with the applicable information. And then you may have another table with the time information or the time spent on working on those tickets. And then you'll have a security thing where it'll be like, you may have a third table. It's like, okay, ticket number 5, which is down here. This is the actions that were done on these things. And so you may need to have access to all the data in all 3 of those tables. So you're going to need a custom view that you'll be able to pull down in a spreadsheet or, a query or something like that. Same thing for Jira. If you've got a Jira or something, you'll have a bunch of information in there that you may not all need access to, or certain projects, that kind of thing. So. Well, I hope that was helpful. I always loved these things when I was a kid. Fuck. I would do the so like most children who apparently had ADHD or whatever, I was smarter than the other kids. Of course, as you can tell, that probably caused me to have all kinds of issues. No, it's okay, Digital Word. When I was a kid, it caused me to have a lot of issues socially. And so they stuck me in the gifted program. And that meant I had access to computers, so I would play Jeopardy all day, or they had huge books full of these logic puzzles that you could go through. That's the problem with online schooling. Not many people to talk to about the concepts being learned. That is 100% the case. Yes. This is interesting. So they give you information on how to solve logic puzzles, true false clues. That is interesting. Yeah. Laura's tattoo didn't cost $55. So we know that, yeah, Laura's tattoo didn't cost $55, so we'd put an X where Laura's $55 is, or we'd put a circle there, because obviously we know it didn't cost $55, so it cost one of the lesser amounts, right? I've never actually seen a website that talked about how to fix these. Interesting. 3 to 4, 3x4 grid, 3x5 grid, 4x4 grid. Wow, they get pretty complicated. Wow. Competition timer. Easy, difficult, or challenging. Okay. Let's get ready to solve. All right. Let's see. So we've got, oh yeah, these are nice. These are fun. So we have active clues. The mushroom that sells for $40 per pound will go to Pete's Produce. All right. So we have Pete's Produce. So we know Pete's Produce, we got that. And so we know that anything that's 35 bucks won't go to, oh, oops. There, yeah. So you double click on those. Based on Beta's gross SQL statement, is SQL a thing of the past? Are there more modern DBMSs being used that doesn't use SQL? I don't know. I'm definitely using it at work. I mean, I am, just to give you an example, we have some big data stuff with data dumps, and I'm saying select, you know, 4 or 5 different tables from, or 4 or 5 different rows from a table where status equals blah and status doesn't equal blah. So, tons of new DBs. SQL is great. I was just teasing, but it does have some issues and can be annoying to run through the big data. Yeah, I mean, I remember when I used to work with Mr. Betcher at the original place I met him, we would have developers who would run queries and not think about things like performance. And it was on an Oracle database at the time, which was in production. And they were like, be careful of running queries that might return several 100,000 database rows. And because it tends to cause performance issues, right? And if your database is constantly taking in data and you're asking it to peruse that data, now you have input and output problems. You get exhaustion, you get all kinds of shit. And then you get throttling and bandwidth issues. So the brick top mushroom sells for $5 more per pound than the mushroom going to organic market. Oh, interesting. Okay. 4 mushrooms are the brick top mushroom that sells for $25 per pound, the mushroom going to Pete's Produce, and the mushroom going to Wickman's. All right. So I'm sorry, I shouldn't be doing this, but so wow. Okay, so we know the brick top mushroom is not $25. So we know the brick top mushroom is not 25 bucks. We know that the mushroom going to Pete's Produce could be the brick top mushroom. Most of these new DBs are using SQL in the back end just with loads of cool stuff on the top. Yeah, and to ones that aren't typically, if they're just key value pairs, then either you're using some kind of grep or you're using something not SQL related, but there's still a way to query that information in a way that will get you what you need. Because you'll still have to grep for certain areas, or you can even run queries against that too. It's just I don't know how you would do I'm gonna hold on to that for later. Querying key value pairs. I'm assuming that's what you do. Yeah, SQL key value pairs. So I have 2 tables with a product table of those things. I would like to query these 2 in a join that returns 1 row for each product of all the key value pairs, right? Interesting. That's good to know. Would something like Splunk still use SQL in the back end? Oh, Splunk SQL back end. It uses a proprietary data store called an index, which consists of raw files. It's nothing like a conventional DB. This question has been asked a long time ago and can't find it. How is this Splunk? It's unclear to you. Uses its own engine, does not rely on any external databases. It manages its own database via a series of flat files and indexes, and Damien has provided a good resource for you on how the data engine works. Yeah, it isn't a SQL backend. It looks like because they want to be high performance, right? Those links are all dead now. They're all dead to me. You're generally are looking specifically at indexes. The key stores are MongoDB. Okay, so they're using MongoDB apparently on Splunk's backend. How indexing works. I don't have a. This may be helpful to you if you have a Splunk account, of which I do not have one. I understand indexing, that is not the only place. They're flat files, lookups, or CSV files, or MongoDB. Alerts require relationships that are stored in a DB, but I can't recall offhand if it's MySQL or MongoDB. Nope, MySQL is not used inside of Splunk. The KV stores MongoDB, but again, this is not used by Splunk for any kind of relationship mapping or storage. The KV store is provided for Splunk applications to not use for Splunk per se. Can you drop that link of the clues you were working through? I'd like to go through that myself. Which clues? You mean the logic puzzle or something? I'm sorry I brought up the logic puzzle. I haven't worked through one of those in years, but they're a lot of fun. So, no, okay. It's now I don't know if this is going to generate something separate for you, but yeah. Shaggy mane mushroom sells for $5 more per pound than the bear's tooth mushroom. Okay. So what we know is the shaggy mane can't be $40 because it can't sell for $5 more per pound. It also can't be $25, so it has to be 30 or 35. And then it's like tic-tac-toe. It's like you fill in things once you go. I am not logical in any way, shape, or form, Beta Wolf. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but but yeah, it's cool that they had instructions on how to do these various things. So usually they will have some kind of logic there, so that by definition, using some of the logic from the other ones, that the shaggy mane is not $40. So that now you've got, that it's 35. So the shaggy mane is $35. The mushroom going to Pete's Produce is not a shaggy mane, so you can mark that one off. Shaggy mane's not going there. The one thing you have to do is keep everything situated and normal and level, right? If shaggy mane's not going to Pete's Produce, it's not $35. I don't know why I said the shaggy mane wasn't $30. Mushroom that sells for $40 per pound will go to Pete's Produce. I'm not sure how I decided the shaggy mane was $5 more per pound than the bear's tooth mushroom. Right. Okay, so that's actually not correct. Turn that one off. Oh, for fuck's sake. Undo. Oh, right. Undo. There we go. I lost people because they're not interested in this. That's okay. Yeah, I just, I'm not a fan of these, which I see a lot on LinkedIn, and they get you sometimes on these. It's like, 6 pieces of watermelon at 36 is obviously each slice is 6, that kind of thing. But I know, Beta Wolf. I appreciate that. Yeah, some of these can get fairly complicated. So, yeah, like this one here, I've seen several like this where it's like super complicated. But these are kind of like the relational databases in the different views, right? You've got, the student in the month is a table. You've got the subject in the month would be a table with the month being the foreign key inside of the subject. I mean, these are going to be super normalized if, you know, in terms of traditional databases, you know, your month and your teacher are going to have something similar, your student and your subject. I mean, it's going to be, you know, normalized out the ass. I mean, this is even 2.4, 2.467 bananas. So yeah, we know each piece of watermelon is 6. So this is 12, 12 and 12 is 36. 12 plus, well, subtract 12 from 28 and you get 16. So each peach is 8, right? So 12 plus 6 plus 6. No, 12 plus 6, 12 plus 8 plus 8. So each one is 8. And then 8 minus this is 3. So the banana is 5, right? So this is 8. This is 12, each one of those being 6, and the banana is 5, right? I hate that I can do that shit in my head. Now here's another one. So obviously these are 9, or 3, 3, and 3. So that's 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times, so you divide by 3, be 3 times 2 times 2 times 2. So each limit is 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times, what is that, a mango? What is that? No, it's an orange. Orange. So 3 times 2 is 6. Times 6. No, times 8. So 6 times 8 is 48. No. Well, you can go down here and go, okay, so we know 3 times 2, those are 4. So this is 3 times 2 is 6 plus 4 is 10. So to satisfy this one up here, so it's 3 times 2 times 4 times 4. So 3 times 2 is 6 times 4 is 24 times 4 is 96. So yeah, there you go. That all works out. Yeah. Yeah, good times. I mean, there's a certain type of logic in it, right? Where you can see, you know, you can see that, and they're good. I don't want to say time waster, but you know, it's just kind of fun to do something a little different. Double check and make sure I don't have any emails. There we go. Oh, you got some stuff going on her. Oh, see what's this? No. Sorry, somebody's actually asking me a question. So found out that I'm not going to be the reason I was going to like goon at DEF CON was I was supposed to have a work event in Vegas in August around the same time. Because we were there last year for the similar event. And then it was like, oh, well, I could have gone to Black Hat, or I could have gone to DEF CON, or I could have gone to B-Sides. But they've changed the venue of where we're going to be and changing the month. So we're not going to be in Vegas in August. We're going to be in Edinburgh, Scotland in September. So I'm going to be traveling to Dublin in June, and then turning right around, going to Vegas in August, and then turning right around again and going to Edinburgh, Scotland in September. All that's going to be paid travel by my company, which I'm excited about going to Scotland. I'm excited about going to Ireland because those are like Weston Airport. Ew, really? Damn, that's going to be a travel. Damn, that's going to be some Ubers. Yeah. Wow. I'm also supposed to be going to an on-site in LA, and no, not the gas lamp. Thought you might. Weston Airport, LA. That is oh my god. Yeah, that is not where I'd want to stay in LA. Ugh. That is rough. I would I mean, they want me to drive up from San Diego and it's like I got to drive all the way to the airport in LA. Ugh. That's not good. What's this? What's this down here? Manhattan Beach. Oh, we must have stayed at that hotel at one time. Oh yeah, we did. Okay. I tend to pin everything now when I'm traveling because it's like I want to reminisce, or now that you've got like street view for a lot of things. So like you go, see, you can see all the pins that I've got here for San Diego. So it's like, oh yeah, you can go over here and see where Erie Court is. I don't even know what that goes to. It must be somebody I know. You go out here to Romano's restaurant. That's where when we went out to Julian, California, we ate at this restaurant. So I like to put labels in. Yeah, labels. I say saved, and it's like we had lunch here or whatever. Or I probably have several. It's like, hey, I parked my car here. Because I will lose shit if I don't. Let me see. Oh yeah, Cabrillo National Monument's a lovely place. My wife had, this set up my wife to have a heart attack about 6 years ago, so that's nice. Yeah, Cabrillo National Monument, lovely place. Looks out over North Island. This is North Island Naval Air Station where I was stationed. There we go. Yeah, you can see there's actually a nice walking path down. So you see where the grass is here. There's a cliff. And then down closer to the water, there's a little walking path that you can walk to go down there. But yeah, this is the lighthouse. You can go up in there. You got to be real, I don't want to say tiny, but it's cramped. Yeah, and going up in there's, interesting to have to do. So, oh yeah, here's some of the walking path. Yeah, you can see the walking path down there. It's quite a bit of elevation change there, but it's lovely blue water here in the San Diego area. Yeah, that's North Island Air Station right there. Yeah, y'all should come out. We definitely will have a meet and greet or something. Go have some adult beverages. There you go. Yeah, so that's the North Island Station, or some of the ancillary buildings. I think this is where NASCO, the shipbuilding place, is. You can see that down there. This is actually Coronado, which you can see where cruise ships will go out. So so you see so what you saw there was, when you're looking at Cabrillo out here, here's where the NASCO stuff was from. This is what you're seeing right here with the NASCO bit. And then obviously this is North Island, the monuments here. I was stationed somewhere in this area at one time. The bridge, of course, is the iconic bridge of, Coronado Bay Bridge. See there you go. This is the bridge. It actually goes all the way out. Some say that it had to be that long to get federal funding. So you can see how it just kind of goes out straight and then makes a really like 90-degree turn. It's kind of trippy. But yeah. And then of course, Naval Base San Diego, 32nd Street's what we call that. Jeez, watching. I am not giving you any information about North Island Naval Air Station or the Naval Base San Diego, which is right here. This is 32nd Street Pier and all that. They have ships that were docked there at one time. This is called the Silver Strand 75, which goes down past the CB base, goes to Imperial Beach. It's the only other way you can get off of Coronado if the bridge went away. I went down this way because it's quite a drive to go all the way around, and then you got to go back up to the I-5. So that bridge could have been much shorter. You're absolutely right, Digital Warhead. it's an experience when you drive across it. It is, the on ramp. I mean, it is, I would say, you definitely can tell you're driving up the bridge. I mean, this is going down it, but these K rails move in the mornings, so they flex the traffic. There's these blue machines that will move these left and right. So this lane right here, where you see the scratches or the gouges, is they move everything. So there's three lanes in the afternoon, and there's two lanes in the afternoon going up and three going down, and in the morning there's three going up and two going down. So yeah, they move it. Yeah, the machines will actually move those over, and you'll see it in the morning when you go across the bridge. Let me see if the machines are down here or not. Let me see. Come on. But yeah, as you go up in the morning, so you'll go up the bridge and around the curve in the mornings. There'll be a machine that will be moving them, across the road here, and there'll be two lanes leaving Coronado and three lanes going in the morning, because the military got to get to work, and there's several thousand cars that are going across this bridge every day. But it's definitely an experience when you're driving on it. It definitely moves with the wind, and yeah, it's quite interesting. When I lived here in 2002, they still had the yeah. See, there were oh yeah. So there were. This is one of the roads that go underneath it. But they had toll roads and stuff that you had to pay once you crossed the bridge. You paid at the terminal there at the bottom. Well, yeah, because San Diego didn't want to pay for it. I think it was the length it was because it had to be so long to get federal funding to be paid for, which is why it's got this kind of janky thing. Um, yeah, and plus there's other piers here that where ships and support traffic, uh, or support for Pier 19. Cruise ship terminal is right over here, Broadway Pier. Cruise ship terminal. Yeah, that's where we went off on our cruise ship to go. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. One of the ships, but yeah, it's a nice little cruise ship terminal. Anywho, um, wow, so not talking about security right now. I'm cool with that though. There's a lot of OSINT. If we want to pull it back to that, there's a lot of OSINT you can gather from old pictures. I think the one thing I like about Google Maps is there's enough data now that you can actually see the changes that have occurred in many places across San Diego. Like, you're let's go pick a spot, something like this where you've got, yeah. Some of the places I've lived didn't have very good street view, but you can actually see the differences between, what things look like in 2008. Well, this is a poor example because not much has changed. The trees may have gotten bigger. I picked one of the few places in San Diego County that doesn't change much. No, I'm so stupid. Yes, I know. It's a thank you. Yeah, I know. Not much change. I didn't want to pick somebody's house, so that was why I picked that one. We go to Viejas Casino and Resort. There we go. That should be something that's changed in the past few years. Viejas has been around for a long time. So yeah, you'll see. Let's see more dates. I love the more dates thing because even you can see okay, so there you go. There's a between January 2011 and now you can see that they've definitely painted it different. There's the cars have changed. There's less cars. This was obviously taken on a weekend or sometime when it was not as, but in 2011 there were trees and now there's no trees. They put in shrubbery, that kind of thing. You might go up a little further here. That way you can, see, now there's additional, context. They didn't say screw the trees. Screw them trees. Fuck them trees. Actually, it probably removed them because of fire hazards. But yeah, I mean, you're gonna. Yeah, so maybe these trees were not indigenous, and they probably did that to save water. It looks like they had just removed them, so they're not that old. You can see, yeah, it looks like they just removed them in 2023. There's the sawdust and the they could use it as cover to steal from cars. Well, I know that in San Diego County they had passed a lot of ordinances making it not illegal, but it's like if you wanted incentives to not have trees, or to use indigenous plants versus things that were more, I don't know, considered. The podcast isn't supported by Viejas Casino, but if you wanted to see more differences here, you could see what the difference look like. And yeah, so obviously. Anyway, right on. Yeah, fire hazards. Forgot that. Yeah. Well, according to Natural Department of Natural Resources here, we've gotten enough rain in the last 2 winters. I think that we're actually doing quite well now. We'll figure out how to fuck it up somehow, I'm sure. But I'll get a room at the airport. We reserved the Marriott down the street last time we were there. Sorry, my skip is asking me a question. All right. And I'll just drive up. Doink. Okay. But yeah, I like looking at the, some of the stuff in Seattle you could definitely see changed quite a bit, or I'm assuming places like LA or not LA, but like New York, you can see different buildings, or you can watch the construction of things going up. So I thought that was kind of cool. Lake Shasta. Yeah. What was it? Water levels, California. It knows what I want. Yeah, California Data Exchange Center. Maybe they'll give us a nice thing. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, historical average 136%. But yeah, I mean, we're doing pretty good considering we're still getting snow in the Tahoe area, Lake Castaic, which is north of LA, McClure, which is in the Central Valley here, New Melones, Don Pedro, Pine Flat. A lot of these are really, really doing well. So yeah, this one's almost completely full. Shasta, yeah, Shasta is doing really well. Yeah, so you can see it's almost at its total capacity. I think even Lake Mead isn't doing too poorly. So yeah, I mean, this is definitely different than what we saw 2-3 years ago. But I was like, people will fuck it up at some point. We'll do something to give away all the water that we have, but managing your resources properly. So yeah, you see the snowpack for the area. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, we're like 130% above normal, 144% in our snowpack this year. Yeah, we had several big storms that came through, including that tropical that filled up a lot of things. I even think Lake Mead has gotten some acre feet of Lake Mead levels. Yeah, as Lake Mead improving, it got 1,066 feet. So yeah, 30 feet below its current level, right? So it's filling up. It just hasn't gotten back to where it needs to be. If we had another tropical cyclone come through like we did the last time, I think it would be good. Yeah, this week in weather by Petty Officer Break, AG2 Break is yeah. I mean seriously, one of my regular tabs here is the weather for the area. So oh, it's gonna be awful. Oh God, it's gonna be so cold. Ugh, 68 degrees. Brr. 68 degrees. Brr. Yeah. So This is the time of year I love in San Diego where it's like low to mid 70s. It's going to be beautiful. So. I'll go look and see what we got up at. Yeah. Oh, it's lovely in Snoqualmie right now, where I used to live, or near where I used to live. So, no, it's gonna be nice. Low to mid 60s. Oh, there we go. So, y'all aren't hurting too much in east of Seattle. So, yeah, you just get a little more snow or sun than we get, and showers. So, but yeah, yeah. I'm I'm really having going back to what I was talking about earlier. Do you ever worry about not having impact at work? Do you ever have an issue with not, like, especially after like a reorganization or realignment, where it's like, because I watched Star Trek the other night, the new one, the with Pine. No, sorry, Chris Pine, yeah, and Hunkle Vink Winkeldork or whatever his name is. Um, yeah, Hornkledink or whatever. Star Trek Into Darkness. Is that it? Is that the one? Nerp. Yeah, yeah. Hinkledink Winklebonk. Yeah. It's hard to see where you actually stand. Yeah, and the funny thing was with the previous alignment that we had, or the previous organization, I had more autonomy than I don't want to say I currently have. I understand with the realignments and reorganizations, you got to build that trust back up, right? But I've found myself with, when in this scene, with Cumberbatch and what have you, him and Spock, I'm not gonna ruin the movie if you haven't seen it by now. Oh well. Cumberbatch is on the other ship. He's talking to Spock on Enterprise. Enterprise is all busted up, everything, and you know they're doing their little tete-a-tete back and forth, and Spock's like, well, how do you know, how will I trust you, how will I know you won't blow things up? And Cumberbatch is like, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to tell you what you're going to do, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and I'm going to tell you what you're going to do. So let's just cut through the bullshit and figure this out. I'm at that point right now where it's like, if I do this, I know they're going to ask for this, and then I'm going to have to do this, and then they're going to ask for this, and it's like, okay, should I just cut to the chase and write up the fucking white paper that they're going to ask me for after I do X, and then they do Y, and they do Z, and it's like, should I just write the 6-page white paper that I'm going to need to, write up anyway, because I know the inevitable end is the white paper. And it's like, do I really want to invest the time in that? Because then the next thing is, what are they going to do with that white paper? Is anything going to happen from the white paper? I'm going to have to spend more time in meetings with the white paper, and et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, it's just so demotivating. And it's like, I hate Cumberbatch as Khan. Everything else about the movie's okay, but he's not Khan. I'll stand by that fact. They should have made him one of Khan's soldiers instead of Khan. It would have worked much better. I think they had to do something. It could have been worse, right? I don't hate the Kelvin timeline. The one thing that bothered me was the running scene in the movie. It was like, oh, Mr. Spock, there goes Khan, and we can beam you down. And it's like, you could have just, you could have figured out where Khan was running to and kind of beamed Spock there instead of beaming Spock here, and then him having to do this really dorky looking running scene because everybody was kind of like, in perfect form and stuff. Khan died. He should have stayed dead. I loved the Kelvin timeline. I hated the second one. And well, even the original Star Trek movies with Spock and Shatner and Nimoy and all of them had the odd curses, right? Khan's super soldier wanted revenge, would have timed more into the whole time travel issue Kelvin timeline brought. Yeah. I mean, they weren't going to get Ricardo Montalban back, so he did. But yeah, I found myself equating myself to not Khan being like, all smart and shit, but it was like, if I do X, then I'm gonna have to do Y, and I'm gonna have to do Z because they're gonna ask for this, and I just kind of ran into that. Should have made a new character. Well, they did make a new character in what Star Trek, the search for, the bumblebees or whatever with the crew of the Franklin and Idris Elba and whatever. Uh, they're coming out with number 4, and I think they said 4 was going to be the last one, right? Search for more bumblebees or something like that. With, yeah. So it's going to be greenlit, and I think that's the last one. And like the Avengers, it's going to be the search for a cheaper cast. I think like they rebooted Spider-Man twice. He's not a Spider-Man; he's a Spider-Man. Anyway, yeah. Then of course we haven't watched hardly any of the new Star Trek shows other than Picard. I watched a few episodes of Discovery, which is ending apparently in season 5. I should have given Khan respect, and that just allowed Batch to be someone else. That's just my opinion on the opinion theory. You know what? I didn't. I thought they were excellent popcorn movies. I really liked Zachary Quinto as Spock. I liked the fact that they brought Nimoy back as alternate Spock. I thought that was kind of cool. Obviously, everybody had issues with the lens flare stuff, which I found quite interesting. I did find it quite annoying once I identified it. Maybe that's just my ADHD, but best. I also like Carl Urban as Bones. I think that guy definitely watched a lot of Star Trek to be able to emulate, yeah. But yeah. Yeah, Carl Urban definitely is Bones. I think that guy really wanted to get it right, and without having DeForest Kelly there, yeah, he did very well. I really enjoyed his bits there. So, mm-mm-mm. I'll have to see what they have in terms of charging up. I'm gonna be taking my Tesla, up to Marriott Westin at the airport. Interesting. Well, that presents a logistical issue, doesn't it? That's just because Jim is honestly a flattish character. You shouldn't be able to ruin him. That's true. I mean, I think he brought his own flair to Kirk. I think in that case, I did not hate. I haven't hated Discovery yet. There's a lot of Star Trek purists out there, and coming from a guy who goes to cruises where everybody is a fan of Star Trek, not the cruise Star Trek thing, but the cruise group that we went on for almost 15 years and have gone on regularly with are fans of Star Trek, and we've had some of the actors go with us. I really like Discovery. That's because I knew from the start what kind of story it would be. Yeah, there was a lot of people that did not like Discovery at all, and still do not like Discovery because of what they did to the Klingons or what have you. But yeah, I think if you take it the way it was intended, it was just another imagining of the story. If you want to use different timelines, fine. That if that makes you sleep better at night, but it's like the comic books. When you see the comic books where somebody's like, hey, I did this, version of Batman in 20 years or something, and or the different versions of Batman and Superman and all those folks with the what if versions, like what if Spider-Man was a zombie or whatever. And there's so many retcons, right? Depending on who wrote it or who wrote that series, it's like, oh, they can't do that because they killed off whoever in episode 92 or, version of that. It's weird that people love those but got mad at new Star Trek content. Yeah, I mean, same thing with Star Wars, right? People who love them some, or Dune just recently. It's like, if you were hardcore into Dune or hardcore into the series, you might not have liked it. I think we saw it with Harry Potter too, and I think that was before J.K. Rowling was, went batshit. People were like, it's not true to the books. Or Lord of the Rings with Peter Jackson. It was like, where's Tom Bombadil? Where's this? Why did they spend 15 minutes with dwarves throwing plates around in the first movie? You know, artistic license, right? Right. Rowling was always bad shit. She just, she wasn't rich, and she, could keep her opinions to herself. And then when she realized she was rich and had more money than God, she could have an opinion that kept her somewhat insulated, and she didn't have to worry about it. But yeah, so I want to do some more stuff on Friday. If everybody will come back, we'll do some Rust. I need to learn the basics, I think, and not just, hey, here's how to do all these things, but do simple things like, here's how you pull things from a list, or here's how you make a list, or whatever. Because those challenges I was doing or wanting to do for like holiday challenges, you really need to know how to use Rust. Like, how do you make lists? How do you push and pop and do those things? So, I may end up having to buy a book on how to do basic Rust stuff, so that way we can refer back to it with the idea that, hey, I need an egg. Okay, so I'm going to go find whatever the version of that thing is in Rust, and I'm going to, shoehorn it in and make that work. Or, I need to be able to do a for loop or whatever. As I think I mentioned or theorized, that all code will come down to certain modules or constituent parts that you can add into it. Like, I need to be able to do a list, so here's how you would write up a list. So being able to understand that would be best. If anybody has a book, Beta Wolf or digital, that you suggest for Rust that isn't fecking ancient, got to make a farm and chickens before getting eggs in Rust. It's true. That's true. The problem I have with Rust and books in Rust, or books in any programming language period, is they go out of style, or they no longer work, or changes made will invalidate the book. Even it's great to have this book here, which you can follow along with, but I don't necessarily need to know the theory. I understand, functions, and I understand those things, but it's like, if I wanted good quality code for how to make a list, or how to add things to that, I don't want to say I don't want to copy paste those things in, but I thought we were talking about a video game. No. What, is there a Rust video game? Rust. Oh, yeah, there is, isn't there? The only aim in Rust is to survive. It's a survival game. Okay. Is it free? There's no way you... There's no legal way for you to get Rust for free. Multiplayer survival game. Face Punch Studios, by the way. Released in 2013. Received a full release in 5 years later. Wow. Okay. Explore, build, survive. Okay. It's one of the coolest games on Steam, and that what makes it so compelling. Okay. 12 days ago, we've updated cargoes and harbors, oil rigs, Bradley, electricity, and patrol helos, adding our first retro TC skin and minigun. Okay. Interesting. I don't know what it is about post-apocalyptic games that people enjoy. You can build your own bases and all that. Yeah, I can do that too. What was that? So there's clones for like Total Annihilation. Oh, I have it on Steam too. I love Total Annihilation. I would play the hell out of that game. Yeah, I play the hell out of that game. I love that game. But but they had other ones like, oh, I see, less RTS, more FPS, yeah. Yeah, the problem with FPS is I get beat up by 8-year-olds that have been playing it for hundreds of hours and they don't have a job and, you know, they don't have time to, what was it? Was it Command and Conquer? Clones. There was one I was playing or trying to play free. Open Raw, that was what it was. Open Raw. Yes, that was it. Since we're on the top of yeah, there we go. So yeah, they rebuilt it, Red Alert, Command and Conquer for the modern age. So yeah, you can, you know, Red Alert, Command and Conquer. Mark R. Johnson Games, Ultima. Why am I just randomly clicking on shit? Oh. Oh. It's a game designed to combine the massive and varied world of games like Dwarven Fortress and your, oh my god, Dwarven Fortress. Wow. Boy, you like pain, don't you there, Beta Wolf? Jesus. Good lord. Yes, you do there, Beta Wolf. Oh my god. Yeah. So one game I have tried to play forever and have never been able to get past like level 5, NetHack. I hate NetHack with a vengeance. It's been around longer than I think some of you have been born. Is it fun? Is it Beta Wolf? Really? Pretty cool. It's been inducted in the Museum of Modern Art as part of their video game collection, so that's pretty sweet. But yeah, they have, yeah, NetHack. I've been trying to play this game forever, and I can't win unless I just absolutely cheat at it. So, the graphics look nice. It's definitely interesting. There's an engraved Kakakchker car denoting a nomadic burial. It's the ASCII art style too. Yeah, this definitely looks different than some of the ASCII art I've seen. Oh wow, if that's yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah. So you can go what NetHack tiles. You can get tile sets for NetHack as well that you can use to. Let me see. Let's see, where's the tile? NetHack tiles, animated 32 by 32. Yeah, there we go. Default hack tile set. Yeah, there we go. Original size. So when you're playing NetHack, these are all the characters you can use, and then they have other ones that you can skin over top of it. It's close as you're going to get to skins for things like NetHack. They have a 128-bit as well. This is like maximum dorks, I know. Here's a work in progress 64-bit. Wow. Okay. Oh, very cool. Foxes. You can definitely tell this guy's put some time and effort into kittens and house cats and jaguars. Wow. Okay. Jesus. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Some of the art on these are pretty good. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, it's free. There's a lot of games out there that are free, and that is pretty good. I like that. These are trees. That's pretty awesome. I like the art on that. Download it, download it, download it. You don't want me to get any work done at work, do you? Just messing around. Download it, download it, download it. Okay. Ultima Ratio Regime. Let's shrink this down a little bit. There we go. Games. Download the game. The Last Argument of Kings. Let's see. Well, that's not good. I didn't want a zip file. I can just, unzip it. Extract all. There we go. Oh, see, now it's got a virus in it. Thanks, Beta Wolf. You gave me a virus. Well, I can't run it now because Windows has protected my PC against viruses. So, sorry, Beta Wolf. I can't play that. It's unfortunate. It's a shame, really. Generate a world. Start a new game. Options. Is there sound? Because I got to turn the fucking sound off. Sidebar map, territory, height, or terrain. Generating Earth. Yeah, okay. Generating places, generating cultures, generating people. No two runs will ever be the same. Okay. It's taking its sweet ass time, isn't it? Generating knowledge. Okay. Oh, so this is like one and done? Is it like a sandboxing kind of thing? As you play new things, open, unlock, and etc. Okay. See what's going correct. Yeah, okay, my GPU is doing okay. Generating secrets. Oh, operation complete. Okay. Very nice. Start a new game. World 1. Or civilization might employ any policy from this list. Oh my god, dude. Do I have to figure all this shit out? Oh my god. That's a lot, dude. That's a lot. I will look at it or a little later, but I don't want to have to try to set all this up right now. I guess I could just start with random, so great. Now I'm in a totalitarian, and I'm just, some podunk nobody. Welcome to the game 10.2, much focused on optimizing and bug fixes. Many procedurally generated items can now be found at the marketplaces of cities. Once you exit this message, press L or semicolon will allow you to examine people, items, world features, and terrain. Space shows you the world map, and T lets you explore and discover the world. Use E to see your encyclopedia. Docs allow for fast travel. Pressing O will access the options menu. Pressing question mark or B will access the guidebook and listing the controls and info about the game and other mechanics not listed here. Thank you for playing, and please send any feedback you have. Press enter to dismiss the message. Okay. Oh, so this feels very much like NetHack. It's just that much bigger, right? Oh, yes, it definitely has like a fog of war kind of thing. Is that a snake? Nope. What is that? Oh, there's a 2. Oh no, a 2 is going to get me. I'm being killed by a 2. Is that a dog? What is that? What am I chasing a V for? Where am I going? Where's the V going? God damn you. Where's the V go? Oh, there's one. Oh. It's kind of cool. I do like the fog of war kind of thing. It's a horrible night to have a curse or something. I do like that. It's got it shows you where the Okay. You notice some servants passing nearby discussing something in hushed tones. Oh, okay. Creatures. Oligarch of Spurbus. Oh my god. Okay. Objects, none. Features, sparse grass. Okay. This is exciting, Beta Wolf. I'm really having a lot of fun here. Oh, there's a squiggly thing. Did I get this? No, I can't pick up the squiggly thing. What's going on here? Okay. Gotta find the squiggly thing. Am I gonna fight anything eventually? Oh, there we go. You hear something of an individual discussing their work as a noted architect. Okay, let's go talk to the architect. See, from Vandalay Industries, what's that all about? I'm in a city? How do you know? What's this? Oh, these people? Am I walking on people? Am I going to walk into somebody's house? You do not know how to swim. Oh, okay. Oh, I think I'm going to need to go. The wall and people you hear talking around you. Oh, I see. I think I'm going to need to go because I'm getting hungry and we need to figure out what we're going to do for dinner. Oh, this is a building. Oh, hey, you enter the building. Hey, there we go. Okay. Treasury. All right, give me some monies. Give me some of them monies. Sweet, sweet dollars. Oh. You hear two servants discussing something in whispered tones. Okay. Doing something. Uncovering the map. All of this is procedural generation. Oh, so it's being generated on the fly. Okay. I'm getting like an Adventures of Link, but I'm definitely getting NetHack vibes, just not in the same way that NetHack is. Quests don't get generated until you talk to people. Oh, well, where are the people? Is that what this little pie symbol is? How do I? No. No, that didn't work. Are these people? Oh, there's an arrow. That's terribly important. Nope. Different types of people will have different symbols from. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna need to go because it's like almost dinner time for us, and I need to go and like priests and all that. Okay, so the pies are probably priests or something. So I need to probably, I'm stepping on people. Hey, at least I haven't been killed by a red slime yet. So that, I've already lasted longer than most of my NetHack sessions have. So yeah, is what it is. So I'm going to go and I'll be back on Friday and hope everyone's had a good time, or at least, Beta Wolf and Digital Warhead. Hope I've helped Digital Warhead figure out views and joins in databases. If I've done one thing that I've done excellently, I'll ask you Friday how far I've gotten. Okay. I will have to go back and listen to the instructions again to see how to talk to people and interact with folks. So we'll have to see what I've done there. There's also something over here I missed with some kind of full clouds, rain, fog, snow, etc. So there's some additional bits I got to do there. So all right, well, I'm gonna figure out how to get out of this thing, and yeah, I'll talk to you all on Friday. Have a good day, and we'll talk soon. Bye, y'all.